All right, we're gonna subtract a fraction. So we're gonna subtract 7/8 minus 3/4. In order to do that, the first step that we need to do is we need to find a common denominator. That's your first step, always when you are subtracting two fractions. Okay, so to find a common denominator, we need to first look at the multiples of 8 and 4. So remember, a multiple is basically just skip counting by that particular number. So for example, the multiples of 8 would be 8, 16, and 24. Multiples of 4 would be 4, 8, and 12. And we're going to find one that's common, that shows up for both, and we want to find the one that's the least common, or the one that shows up first. So if you can see, 8 shows up for both, and it shows up first, so we're going to call 8 the least common denominator. So the second step is to rename the fractions. So the way that we rename the fractions is we use multiplication. So as you can see, this one already has 8 as its common denominator. So since it already has 8, we don't have to do anything with 7/8. So it just stays the same as 7/8, because basically you would be multiplying by 1. Next, we need to then rename this 4, making sure that it now has 8 as its denominator. So if you look, 1, 2, so it goes in 2 times. So you would times this by 2, and what you do to the bottom, you have to do to the top. So now that becomes 6/8. The third step, so now basically what we've done is we renamed the fraction with the common denominator. These are called equivalent fractions. So now we can subtract, and the way that we subtract is we subtract the numerators only. So for example, remember, the numerator is always on the top and the denominator is on the bottom. So we're going to just subtract, those two. So 7 minus 6 is 1. The denominators stay the same, so it becomes 1/8. And the final step is we always want to make sure our answer is simplified. So we're going to make sure that we've simplified. This one I know is simplified because this is what we call a unit fraction. A unit fraction means it always has 1 as the numerator and then some other number for the denominator. And unit fractions are always automatically simplified because the only thing that goes into either one of these would be 1. And so this is simplified, and my answer then is 1/8.